And we say hello to James Creedon.
Hi, François.
You just heard Bruno Bernard. All we're talking about is François Fillon.
That's right, and I'm not going to change that. Sorry for not changing the topic. Just to look at some of how it's been covered online today, you've got Angélique Chrysefis for The Guardian, who said Fillon is in bunker mode and he is playing his last card. Speaking of cards, you have this image here of Fillon getting a red card, and I think the comment is, "I won't move." That's photoshopped. Call him François Underwood. That's a reference to House of Cards, Frank Underwood, and all of the sort of political machinations and twists and turns along the road. Of course, all his old tweets are being dug out to haunt him right now, in particular where he said, "If ever I am charged with anything, I will stand down." This is a question of morality in politics. And of course, he also made allusion to General de Gaulle at various times during his campaign, saying, could anybody imagine General de Gaulle being charged? And well, hey presto, Guillaume Tessé imagined what that might look like, General de Gaulle mise en examen, but I don't think they're his features. Elsewhere, was the kind of the great irony of the day. While everybody was waiting for the press conference at François Fillon's headquarters, whether somebody made it fall on purpose or it actually fell off the wall, there was this photograph of François Fillon that sort of began to crumble or come down off the wall, and you had all of these political journalists trying to sort of reassemble it or put it back up.
Is that the ghost of Nicolas Sarkozy there?
Well, it might be, but in any case, many saw this as a sign, because everybody was expecting at this press conference, of course, that he would announce that he was going to stand down. Some people saying it's Ash Wednesday, a day of penitence. Fillon is going to express himself at midday. So it seemed all the signs were pointing towards that. And then, of course, Mediapart, which contributed to the speculation that he was going to stand down, because they said that Pénélope Fillon had been charged, which was false. It was not true. And they got this information from Twitter, and they have here published their apologies, essentially for an apology for getting everybody worked up. And you can see this one tweet here talking about all of the confusion there was this morning and the expectation, indeed, that François Fillon would stand down because all of the various different media had contradictory versions of
loads of
events.
Rumors.
That's right. So this quote that we have here became as quite a surprise. "I will not give in." And there's lots of different headlines as well. This one in Slate talking about the fact that political journalists kind of nearly went crazy because it was just so difficult to sort of get the lay of the land and figure out what was actually happening.
There's a rumor that his campaign manager had quit.
Right. So it was all very confusing. Some wondering, was Fillon given the wrong envelope? That's a reference to the Oscars. But I think the speech, I don't think he gave his speech after opening an envelope. I think he just sort of opened his mouth, really. What else do we have? There's lots of different people have been expressing themselves throughout the day. Henri Guénaud, the former speechwriter and advisor to Nicolas Sarkozy, has been doing the rounds of media, saying everything that would be unpleasant for François Fillon to hear, saying that his discourse now is completely inaudible, the austerity discourse, of course, and that he just simply can't campaign anymore. He was at BFM TV, he was at France Info, saying essentially
and he's
the
a
same
supporter of Sarkozy, and the boat is leaking.
That's right.
Guigou, at the outset of the campaign, it was said that François Fillon didn't have a modern communication strategy, that he was old school, and the jury was divided. Some said that was a good thing. What are your thoughts on the way his campaign has been run from a PR point of view?
I think it was
before the scandal.
Yeah, I think before the scandal, during the primaries, he was, and I'm not saying that in a bad way, but he was targeting elderly people that are more represented during the primaries, more involved in politics, older, etc.
Elderly voters.
Yeah, and the low-key strategy, the fact that he was doing grassroots campaign, he was going all over the place and not so much in the media. It was very smart and it did work. But then he was not prepared to face the bigger audience.
Right. Well, certainly today, the news coming from his own camp is not good. I've just mentioned Henri Guénaud. You also had, of course, as you mentioned, François Bruno Le Maire, a former candidate in the primary, who also withdrew his support from François Fillon. You have the founder of the Rue 89 Media speaking here on TV5 Monde, saying that he is a dinosaur from a system that is going to become extinct. And he's speaking about a certain, I suppose, way of doing politics, maybe French system. That's you've lots of images online, such as that one. Really, people feeling that he's just kind of essentially on his way out. Except you do have people, of course, supporting him on social media as well, calling the media judicial system a ferocious adversary which he will overcome. And there is a sort of a gathering at Trocadero in Paris this Sunday, I believe, for supporters to gather and show their support for François Fillon. But again, I think to go back to the first comment, it's pretty much bunker mode.
All right, bunker mode. Still a lot of twists and turns to come before
Indeed.
the first round on April the 23rd. Many thanks, James
François.
Creed. And I want to thank our panel once again. Thank you for joining us here in the France 24 debate.